Well, welcome aboard the News Review segment of the AM show. It's yet another month that we've been ushered into. And let me say a very good morning to Gifty Ando up here.
Good morning, Ben. How are you doing?
I'm well. You?
Yeah, I'm blessed.
I can see that. It's a new month we've been ushered into. What's the feeling like?
Yes, I miss April Fools. I think we're not doing it as much as we used to.
You miss it?
Yeah. Why?
Okay.
I can't miss it.
You like pranks? Because I'm one for pranks.
Oh, no, I don't like pranks. I just miss it when it's done to other people and we get to have a very good laugh.
Okay.
Yeah, some have been fatal though, I must say. But yeah, happy April Fool's Day to all of you who are watching. Good morning. I hope that you have a great day ahead. But let's just move straight into the newspapers, shall we, Ben?
Yes, we shall. And I have the Business Finder newspaper this morning, the Daily Dispatch and the Daily Graphic. What set of papers do you have? I
have the Ghanaian Times newspaper, the Daily Guide, the Daily Statesman. Yes, those are the three I have. Looks like we only have 6, which is good, by the way.
It's a lean morning by way of papers.
It's cool.
Anyway, let's start with you. With the
okay, so the Ghanaian Times banner headline, "Don't let your guard down." That story is on page 16, and it comes with pictures also of Most Reverend Philip Name, president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, and then Right Reverend Dr. Paul Buafo, presiding bishop of my church, the Methodist Church Ghana.
You had to personalize
Oh, but of course. It's the Bethel Methodist Church, to be precise, Tema Community 8. Okay. Don't let your guard down. That's the story. Easter messages amid COVID-19. It tells you where the story is. Clergy advises public about disease, and Parliament approves appropriation bill for 129 billion Ghana cedis. 129 billion Ghana cedis. Mind you, we're going to be paying more taxes. Get ready for that. Also, President launches 204 million global fund for HIV, AIDS, TB, malaria. That story is on page 17. And GAR minister orders closure of beaches ahead of Easter. So this Easter, I think that the authorities are saying we know they play. We know they play at all.
They may be like Mr. Drew and say they are not playing, but the fact is, will people still not go and make merry and do what they do anyway? You saw what happened over.
I did, and I think that one of the papers, I think the Daily Graphic has a picture of that, and it says this must not happen. I think it's a picture from Christmas. It says this must not happen this Easter. But I think it's up to all of us to ensure that it doesn't happen. I mean, if people, just because one person went to the beach doesn't mean you should also join them, knowing very well that there are restrictions. But I think that the police has indicated they will be all out. We just have to wait and see how that all out looks like.
Well, we've seen them go to, nightclubs and the rest, and pubs, some of them, and ensure that the right thing is being done. But at the beaches, I'm sorry to say that what I've seen so far is a far cry from what we ought to see. So I would like to see more walk rather than all the talk.
Let me just finish this up with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Rail interconnectivity between Ghana and Burkina Faso will accelerate economic growth of the sub-region. And that story is attributed to Ameu, John Peter Jean-Pierre Ameu, who is the
It goes without saying. I mean, everybody, this is not rocket science. Everyone knows that the more interconnected we get.
But that's the angle that this particular reporter wrote the story from. And maybe if it says that the Minister for Railway Development, John Peter Ameu, says plans are on course for government to secure private sector partnership in the construction of the Ghana-Burkina Faso railway interconnectivity projects. I get where you're coming from. I think we've heard this angle over and over again
it's
Joe
a hackneyed, overplayed angle.
Yeah, with Joe Gatti. And so we expect to see what has the next step been. Like, where are we in that conversation? The president presents 40.
My apologies. What happened to our, is it Airbuses? You remember
Airbus?
those?
No, I don't.
So the project that was supposed to be initiated with these Airbuses and all, it's tied to the
rail. Yeah, was that under Joe Gatti?
I think yes, it was before this tenure started.
Oh wow.
I'll check I'll check on those. And,
all right, so let me just finish up with the daily, the Ghanaian Times. President presents 40 armored vehicles to the Ghana Armed Forces. That's another story at the back page. You want to read that story? We brought you that story actually here on Joy News yesterday. Let me check what is on the center spread. Well, the center spread has the story. You know, you have all the pastors, Apostle Dr. Aaron Amina, Reverend Dr. Stephen Yenusom Wengam, Reverend Paul from Pomaso, and everybody saying, don't let your guard down as we go through the Easter. Let me end it there. Ben?
Okay, so I'll come through with the daily graphic, and I'll take some of the headlines, some of them I'll delve into. But this first one, the banner headline, Be Upright is True. Vice, you were talking there about the religious leaders. And they have admonished Ghanaians, I'll dig into it later on, they've admonished Ghanaians, particularly Christians, to eschew all forms of social vices, selfishness, dishonesty, indecency, bribery and corruption, and all of that. And when you look at it, Christians constitute the largest number in this country, even according to the recent statistics we have. Yet when it comes to these, it appears we're in a comfortable lead. How do we work on that? NDC Leadership Minority Caucus confer on way forward. The Council of Elders has been talking a lot of discourse, inter-party or intra-party discourse, I should say. But don't you find it interesting? On the back of all these happenings, I have seen Dr. Steve Manteal, you know, if indeed that was his Facebook post, yes, you know, commending Okudzeto Ablakwa on what he had done, saying that it was based on principle. I've heard others say, Afenyo Markin, for example, has been saying that it was a sad move from Isaac Adongo, who is a deputy, Adongo, before you start thinking Adongo.
Did you say Adongo?
Adongo. Isaac Adongo. That's why I had to go back before I get any flack. Who is a deputy ranking member, by the way. And then you hear from the likes of Dr. Almani Boamwa, who is chastising his own party, saying that if you have to write all these letters on the back of this, it shows that there are real problems.
I think there are real problems. It's not...
Come 2024, these are the same people in the grassroots, the people who are calling foul and all of that, who are either going to vote for or against the party.
Yeah, I mean, prior to 2016, the 2016 elections, I think that we saw a lot of that also in the NPP. The NPP has had its own issues. But you see, and
people felt the party was going to implode.
Exactly. And what happens usually is that then there is a conscious effort by party leadership to work at it, if they will. And when they do, usually they come out stronger. So let's see how it goes. I mean, you don't need an angel to tell you that there is a shaking, you know, there is a shifting within the party. It's about where that shift is going.
And some have said they are going to rejig the leadership of the party.
Well, I'm not sure.
In Parliament and all of that, I don't know how that will shape.
Well, there are calls. Yesterday I spoke to Ras Mubarak on Pulse, and he was saying that he thinks that the minority leader, Haruna Idriso, has lost his grip on authority in the minority in Parliament, and he thinks that there has to be some kind of contest to get another leader for the minority in Parliament. Haruna Idriso, on the other hand, has been saying that I am still minority leader. I'm fully in charge. But I think that the Council of Elders, it's good that they've risen up. You know, even though the party, when we spoke to them yesterday, they were trying to deny. You know, they said they were in Parliament.
I mean, they'll try to make it look nice, not as bad as it may look.
We're not children like that, you know what I mean? You know, people can read through things, people can understand it, but this is their business. I mean, whatever they decide to do with it is up to them. But they said it wasn't a part, they weren't in Parliament because of that, but they were there because, you know, they wanted to deal with some other issues. It's up to them. And we see how they're able to maneuver and steer this wheel.
So what this means is the likes of Okudzeto Ablakwa, he has been there throughout the vetting of all the substantive ministers, but when it comes to the deputies,
done quite a good job,
yes,
you know?
The deputies, he's not going to be with them as they look at some of those deputies, first-time deputies who are going through the system. Well, SNIT funds safe, that's according to the Director General. And the Minister Lord State Housing for good use of IGF. What exactly is good that they've done here? They've used internally generated funds to put up some structures of their own for the first time in quite a while.
I personally think SNIT can do much better than it is doing now. But anyway, That's a debate for another day.
Okay, so the funds being safe is one conversation. This is more of the state housing, Minister Lord State Housing for good use of IGF. So that one is a different story. But SNIT and I, we all have issues with SNIT, don't we? We all have concerns. When you turn to page 5, let me just do some international news. ICC upholds Gbagbo's acquittal. And yesterday, listening to the BBC, it was joy for a lot of people, including those who had been associated with Laurent Gbagbo at the time, who had been accused together with him. Niger thwarts coup, and this wouldn't be the first time. We've, in the last decade or so, even within the last few years, we've seen a number of those. On page 9, report on COVID-19 origin raises concern. A group of 14 countries has raised concerns over a new report by the WHO into the origin of the coronavirus, citing delays and a lack of full access to data, while the agency's own chief called for further investigation into a theory the outbreak was the result of a laboratory leak. So from Wuhan's wet market to this, it appears there's no end to people also wanting to know, how did this entire thing come about? You know, the conspiracy theories and the rest. So people want to know, what exactly is it? The middle, let me get to the middle spread and then the back page, and we can say goodbye to the Daily Graphic and come back and look at different stories. So AGI alarmed at pace of deindustrialization. That's the Association of Ghana Industries. I'll be telling you why. And on the back page, Asane Manso Akroso initiates development projects. Picture there of the Member of Parliament, Mr. George Abwaje. And that reminds me of those 70 constituency offices that Parliament is planning on erecting. And we're talking chamber, per the Speaker, we're talking these constituency offices. Yabeshe. Collaborate with security agencies to enforce COVID-19 protocols.
That's
all of that.
I was referring to
that's what you were making reference to.
So that's a picture of plenty people masked up at the beach. No mask. Some are semi-naked. And the newspaper is saying, what's that caption there?
So it says, flashback scenes like this must be avoided at our beaches during the Easter period.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let me continue with the Daily Guide newspaper. The Daily Guide newspaper's banner headline, Ken's approval, my birthday gift. And there's a picture of President Akufo-Addo, and there you have it, President Akufo-Addo and Ken Ofori-Atta. President Akufo-Addo handing over the instrument of office to Mr. Ofori-Atta there. And that picture was taken by Gifty Ama Lawson. And the other stories on the front page of the Daily Guide, mutiny. Hey, Daily Guide. Mutiny.
Yeah, that's how they captioned it, didn't they?
Mutiny in NDC as Ablakwa quits. See page 3. Comes with a picture of Mr. Ablakwa himself. And then 40 armored cars for military. Story on page 6. And John Boydu sets record straight on, quote, NPP varsity. That story is also on page 6 of the newspaper. And let's go quickly through that one. Bagbane sets up committee for Dufo Amwabane. That's a story from yesterday. And there's a story, interesting story here. Bulldog's president threat. Bulldog's president threat video played in court. It looks like they went to, they've taken him to court on that issue. Let me read a little bit of that. So the video, which captures artist manager Lawrence Nana Esiama Hansen, aka Bulldog, threatening President Nana Akufo-Addo live on television, was yesterday played before an Accra Circuit Court where he is standing trial. The video was attached to the adopted witness statement of popular actress Nanama Ajimai McBrown, who is the first prosecution witness. Wow. And so it comes with a picture of Nanama McBrown, and it comes with also a picture of Bulldog. Wow. Interesting story there. I think you can take a look at it on page 8 of the Daily Guide newspaper. And then Ghana's Room 5 animation gets international nomination in France. And this is a very important story for the creative industry.
Yep.
And that's why I wanted to touch on it, that people are doing great things. This is animation that we've done here in Ghana that's winning awards abroad.
I think that story, though, that I see there, Kewa, only unity can develop the music industry. That's also a very
Ghanaian sound engineer and sound producer Kewa has asserted that the Ghanaian music industry can move to a better level only through unity. You know why I skip stories like these? Anyway,
why?
Don't worry. let me move on with my life.
Oh, tell us, do share.
I like Kewa, by the way. I like Kewa. He's a Tema boy. He's a Tema boy, and I'm a Tema girl. You know, and what he's saying is true, but.
But some people also say when feathers are ruffled in the industry, that's when the best come.
No, but I mean, what he's saying is true. But you know, it's like the angle. It's like the railway story angle.
Okay, so reality versus what you're telling us.
No, not necessarily. I say Yatiabre, but nobody's doing anything about it.
Okay.
All right. So, and then government to address Accra's flooding, waste challenges comes with a picture of Francis Asenso-Boakye, who is the new minister for the sector. We'll see how it goes. You see, we want to see the work being done, and then we'll report it. Okay, back page of the newspaper. Referee Bulu collapses in AFCON game, responding to
that was a sad one.
I mean, it was such a spectacle. Yeah, his name though, interesting. Len Clay is Kotoko new home, and Japan Mongolia 14. 14-0.
Yeah, Mongolia, when it comes to soccer.
So then they shouldn't go at all.
Not really. But they're trying. I mean, the fact that they get mauled doesn't mean they shouldn't even attempt it. They are getting into the thing.
14-0. That's a very sad.
I have to call my Mongolian friend and
anyway,
body and find out.
Grab yourself a copy of the Daily Guide newspaper. Take a look at those stories there. Ben.
Right. Let's dig into the Daily Dispatch now. And MPP's 2024 running mate slot. I'm reading this, I'm taking my time.
Take your time.
I will not reject running mate position.
We should read that story. I think it's on the back page.
Che Mensa Bonsu.
It's on the back page.
Should I pause here for effect?
No.
Che Mensa Bonsu. I pause for effect. Will pause for effect. Not reject, pause for effect. Running mate, pause for effect.
You are very
position.
It's okay.
And speaking of positions, which number is this? 1, 2, or 3?
You just made my day.
I'm sorry.
That would be number 3.
She said she likes pranks, so I'm only feeding her what she likes. Che Mensa Bonsu.
That would be number 3.
We'll delve into that story.
I think
it's on the back page.
It's on the back page.
Fertility,
mortality.
But why doesn't
you want the post itself?
Well,
I mean, there are people. People say me pedada, but no, they also.
But he says he will not. But the same party, is it not recently that Freddie Blay was saying?
Oh, but this one.
Give any signs of
this is different. This is different.
He says he will not reject. What does that mean? It means.
No, I will not reject. It's a different story. It's a different story from people who are, having people pissing and say, oh, we want kakaku, we want akaku. That's different from saying. That's different from me saying.
Politics.
That's different from me saying. Should anybody become presidential candidate, I wouldn't mind being. Running.
It reminds me of Asia Dinketia when he was also saying that Vice P, remember the mamia, and your bad sao.
I go fit do
Fertility, mortality, and migration in Ashanti region. You can check out details on page 5. Association of Private Lotto Operators and others call for calm in lottery industry. In the NLA, among others, coming into the media space a lot recently. It also tells you that there's quite a lot going on within that sector that ought to be addressed.
Did you get that KGL?
Who has been speaking on?
Yeah, the KGL company came up at the vetting of the finance minister, Ken Oforiatta, and the story was that KGL is part of the companies that help NLA, with its revenue generation and management, etc. That came up there, and I think that's what the story was related to.
If should time suffice, we'll get into that. Government committed to providing potable water to all Ghanaians. That's according to Madam Cecilia Dapa, Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation. I think I'll treat it like we treated the other story. I'll not. Okay. I'll not get into.
Thank you very much.
Because I'll say things maybe I should.
You want a different angle.
I want a different angle. Election 2024. I won't reject. Okay, so that's actually the story there. And then friends of Dr. Usu Efria call on him. You want us to get into it now?
Hear a bit more of that story.
So the Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Osei Mensa Bonsu, says he will gladly accept the position as a running mate to partner whoever leads the MPP in the 2024 presidential election. He's being cautious. According to him, though he will be accepting the opportunity, his focus now is to help the Nanado-led government in its second term to achieve its aim. You remember when the vice president was also, some of the stuff came and he said, there was that letter issued from his office saying, I am not, for now, my focus is...
for now, everybody's focus is to support Nana Akufo-Addo.
We shall see in the coming months and years where the focus really is. Okay, so that's it for the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Okay, I have the final one here, the Daily Statesman. NDC in turmoil. That's a very big banner headline. It has the story on page 2. NDC in turmoil has a picture of leadership. That is Asiedu Nketia, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, the General Secretary, Haruna Idrisu, the minority leader. Crisis hits parliamentary caucus. National leaders divided. Supporters Statesman. NDC in turmoil. Crisis hits parliamentary caucus. National leaders divided. Supporters frustrated. Just say, the whole thing has crumpled. Okay. The no NPP varsity certificate, no appointment. Not true. So the no NPP varsity certificate, no appointment is one sentence, and it's in quote, and it says not true. John Boydu denies reports. Lotto operators and agents call for calm in lottery industry. That story was also carried by the Daily Dispatch. And back page, a lot of sports stories. Ghanaian referee Charles Bulu collapses during AFCON qualifier. Brazilian striker Michael Vinicius arrives to begin Kotoko stint. Japan scores 14 in World Cup qualifier. Benzema to stand trial in October for alleged blackmail. And they've got some showbiz stories as well. They're now reporting on the Reggie Rostone thing. That's a very dead story. Ken Oforiatta is saying, I will work with integrity to protect the public purse. I mean, those are the big stories. Okay, so let's quickly do the headlines from here and then get into a story or two or three, and it's a wrap. Business Finder now review the tax regime, block leakages, rope more into tax net. And with what we've been told about the Ghana card, among others, and the systems in place to ensure that all of these people are going to be roped into the tax net. I think it was yesterday that I heard that now the Ghana card is even going to, your tin will no longer be necessary. That was said by President Akufo-Addo at the State of the Nation address. The paper is reporting that it's taking effect from today? Today, actually. How? And well, they're integrating everything. Does it you remember initially when the Ghana card thing was coming up, they were saying that because of, even the load, the chip, the card can take and all of that. So it's an e-passport. It is all of these things. Yeah, but I mean, when the story says it's taking off today, I don't know how. Does it provide any details? We'll find out. I mean, I'm just tying it into this story. Right. The story doesn't necessarily have the details, but at least here, so you might be, because this one says use of Ghana card ID as TIN takes off today. It's on page 2. And it says the Association of Ghana Industries. No, this is the story. This is the story is on page 2. Yes. It says, effective today, April 1, 2021, the Ghana card personal identification number will replace the taxpayer identification number. And it says this is in line with government's policy of adopting a unique identifier. The GRA National Identification Authority and the Registrar General's Department jointly issued a statement stating the modalities to ensure a seamless rollout of the initiative. I'm just trying to find... the details aren't captured in the first few paragraphs, but I think these are stories that we need a lot of education on this. So here's something interesting. The statement noted that there will be a transition period from April 1, 2021 to December 31, 2021, where both the TIN and Ghana card PIN may be used simultaneously. So you see, so it's going to be a coupling of them till, let's say, the end of the year. And then I guess that's where the major takeoff. So, for example, if you want to open an account, right now, if you want to open an account in the bank, you need to show a TIN number. But with this, you can show your Ghana ID instead of a TIN number to open an account. And it simply wraps up. It said any taxpayer with a Ghana card must present it at any GRA office to be registered as a taxpayer. That's right. So I guess it will take some time to integrate everybody. So the things that you needed a TIN for, you can use the Ghana card. The things that you can use a TIN for, yes, I said TIN number. Like, people say TIN number. Why? Okay. But the things that you can use, so TIN, the end there is a number.
But we make that mistake.
People usually get. You know what? So for me, I just go tin and it's done.
Yes. So the things that you could use your tin for, now you can use the Ghana card for.
And
sounds cool.
Note that they're going to be used jointly, simultaneously.
Until end of year.
Until end of year.
Yeah.
2 million lotto agents to lose jobs over KGL's operations. I think we can sneak in a story or two right before we check out what's happening online. Gifty, any stories you'd like to dig into?
I think that the NDC, I like the Ghanaian Times posture that focuses more on what the church is doing about COVID-19. It looks as if, there is always news fatigue, so you can talk about one story over and over again, but it gets tiring at a point. And I think that's where COVID-19 is at the moment. Yeah. So it's interesting that the
church...
But
it's still real, though.
It is.
Very real.
It is. People are still dying. And in my church on Sunday, they talked about how... So we had some of the health personnel who work, the health personnel in the church come to talk about the fact that it's not gone yet. Even though we're not talking a lot about it now, it's not gone yet. So we need to be careful. I like the fact that we're doing this because of Easter. Because the indiscipline that we saw during Christmas was just mind-boggling. And I think that should not be repeated.
And we saw the consequences right from January 2021.
Yes, we saw the number of people that died. We saw the number of people that were hospitalized and the pressure it brought on our health system. So I think it's interesting that our churches are talking about it now before we even get to Easter, so that we don't have the ripple effects that we had, in December. So, yeah. I think that's something that jumps at me. I will look through it. I think there was something, I just can't remember what else.
Okay, so before you get to that, let me just take the story from the Daily Graphic that I'd wanted to, with regard to the minister lauding the state housing for good use of IGFs, and it's something we ought to highlight. For the first time in 4 years, the State Housing Company Limited has constructed a number of housing units in Accra from its internally generated funds. That's the most important part. The SHC did not take any loan or support from government, but was able to put up housing units at North Kaneshi, Adenta, both in Accra, through its IGFs. Consequently, the Minister of Works and Housing, Mr. Francis Asenso-Boakye, has commended the state-owned company for the feat and challenged managers and staff not to rest on their laurels. What that other state groupings? A lot of those state-owned enterprises, for example, and states this and states that, they produce practically nothing at the end of the year. In fact, a lot of them are in a debt hole. And so this is something I felt ought to be highlighted, especially as they have generated their own funds and have put it...
Okay, just this one. So this story about Niger foiling the coup attempt days before the presidential inauguration is something we must watch within the security space. And I'm tying that in with President Akufo-Addo's presentation of the 40 armored vehicles to the Ghana Armed Forces. I think that we should put in a lot more, in our anti-terrorism fight.
Okay, so we're going to request, humbly plead that our director Gomez and that our producer Eko will give us 2 minutes to wrap up. We'll use the last minute, Gifty. You use the last minute to go online, My Joy online. But have you ever seen any of those stylish coffins?
Yeah, we actually did a story.
Some are, footballs, others are... This one is a fish, and it says, stylish coffins have come to stay. That's on page 13 of the Business Finder.
It gives me nostalgic feelings. This is a story that we did. Yeah, this is... So when we started Joy News in 2012, I think, this was one of the stories that we did that was, a big deal. So there was this reporter, Walalom Johnson, who did that story. Very interesting story.
I remember when I was working in the Pram Pram Enclave, some of them are. So you actually see them, and it was always exciting.
Fish.
Today you would see one that is, and it's reflective of what the person did in their lifetime.
So maybe this person was a fisherman or liked fish.
You should check out the story on page 13. But there was that story I'd wanted to write before we go on My Joy online. Christian broadcaster fined £125,000 for COVID-19 conspiracies. And I'm sure you can see the person
our directors and our producers are screaming in our ears.
The same Ofcom that was going after ITV after the PS Morgan thing.
Ofcom is really, it's a regulator that doesn't joke. So they are bothering me with this thing. I don't want to do it. But they're saying I should do it. Apparently, there's something called Throwback Thursday.
Okay, so this is mischief.
Is plain, that you? Is that plain. You? Wait. Is that you?
Okay, so of course it is. It is. This is me. How many years ago? And I've left this picture on LinkedIn, and my producer Echo seems to find it. He seems to take pleasure in bringing up this picture.
But I think it's a nice picture, actually.
No, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
The only thing is he takes interest in bringing back that picture. And
seriously,
Gifty, is that you?
No, seriously.
Which award was this, by the way?
This is CNN African Journalist Awards in 2013.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually, this dress. I must wear this dress one of these days. Since the award, I haven't worn it anywhere. I bought it for $400.
For how many dollars?
$400.
$400?
So the dress I took for the awards, Zip Nikosei.
So you had to buy this one.
So I had to buy this
one.
You
had to cough up like
$100,
$200, $300, $400.
Yes. And I haven't had any sponsor for that dress yet. But the dress is still there. I have to find something to do with it. But seriously, Echo.
It's interesting how they're having fun. You know what? Just because they are in the back room and we're here. One of these days, we're also going to get to a lot of mischief.
No, but Echo, is this why you're asking us?
And produce pictures right here live.
Is this why you're asking us to wrap up the news review? Seriously, but that necklace though, anyway.
Coat of all colors. Well, that's the interesting.
This was when I was a student leader. This was a NUCS program at the conference center.
Right.
And I was, what was I doing? ASU, All African Students Union.
You look so.
Yeah, I was a student leader. I was, sure,
looking all students. Now you want us to wrap up. Anyway, we have sports coming your way, a lot to talk about. And